Welcome to H2K Infosys. H2K Infosys is a e-verify business based in Atlanta, Georgia, United States. We provide 100% job-oriented, instructor-led, face-to-face, true live online software training programs. It also includes access to cloud test lab with software tools. We provide live project for you to work on. We also provide assistance with mock interviews, resume preparation and review, and job placement assistance. H2K Infosys is trusted by so many students across the world. H2K Infosys provides world-class services in IT training with real-time project work for corporates and individuals, special IT training for MS students in the United States, software design, development, QA manual and automation, performance testing and maintenance, IT staff augmentation, job placement assistance, and tech support.
Yeah, I'm clear now.
Okay. Manoj, Unicode is basically, it provides a unique number for every character. So, as we have 16 bits, within 16 bits, like we could get 2 to the power of 16 combinations. So, each character is assigned with an unique character. Like, no matter what the platform is, what the program, what the language. That is what we mean by Unicode. Basically, Unicode is something which provides unique number for every character, independent of the platform, program, or any language. Okay, someone asking something?
Hello, madam.
Yeah?
Madam, why should declare in static?
Sorry?
Static, why should we have declare in this static?
Yes. You're asking why at all we make a variable as static. Is it? Is it what your question is?
Right.
There are kind of data which is going to be same for all the objects. For example, if you're creating a class student for the students of H2K Infosys. Okay? When we have, like, I have mentioned here as a college name. For example, if you say, the training center name, it is going to be same for all the students, right? We don't want to waste the memory that, the Java creates a copy for each object. Instead, we make the variable as static. We are saying that the variable is at class level, which means all the objects are going to have the same value.
Okay.
So when we make static, the Java assigns only one copy for it, irrespective of the number of objects that we create. Even we create 2, 10, 100 objects, there is only one copy that is allocated for a static variable in memory. I mean, does that answer your question?
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to operators. So there are different. Okay, is this only one copy for me? Yes, Sarita. Like for any static variable, the name, it has only one copy. I mean, for example, if you create two objects has their own roll number, their own name, but there will be only one copy of the name, the college name as such, whatever the variable that we make it as static.
Neha, Sarita.
Yeah.
Why would you declare main as static?
Main method signature is already defined by the Java people, and we can't make any other method, to run when we run it as a standalone Java application. the reason behind making it as static is they don't want to create objects of the class when we are running it as a standalone application. So that's the reason probably they have made the method as static. But the signature of the main method as such, it's already defined by the Java people. When we
I'm sorry. So I'm just repeating what you said. You said that they don't want any object to be created of the main method?
No, of the class. For example, if main is made as instance method, we should be creating an object to access it. Or the Java people themselves should be creating an object internally to run it, right? To execute the method.
To execute the method. So if it's declared in a class called student, we can still create an instance. You were saying that we cannot create an instance of the class student?
I'm not saying that we cannot create. When we run the class as a standalone Java application, the main method gets executed, which means somewhere internally it has to get called, right? If it is an instance method, the Java has, in the Java code, they themselves have to create an object of the class, which is a waste of memory, right? Hello, are you with me? Sarita, are you with me?
Yes, Neha.
What am I trying to say is the signatures of the main method, like it's public, static, the name void, the name is main, and it takes a string array as an argument, it's already defined by the Java people.
Okay.
Neha Venkat here. So in simple, like if you want to execute any element without being used by an object means, that time we can use static. So this main method, we are not referring by any object. So we are looking at static.
Yes, exactly. They don't want to create objects and use memory. That's the image as static.
So that's how we are differentiating from instance method and this main method. So you can declare.
Yes, even when you create your own methods, you could make them as static. Okay, so the first operators we have is the unary operators. Unary operators, basically, they need only one operand to operate. Like, for example, I have a variable x. I say plus plus x or x plus plus. The only operand that I use is x. The operators that takes only one operand, they are called as unary operators. We say plus plus x, the NOR operators, they are called the unary operators. When I say plus plus x, what happens? X gets incremented by 1. When I say minus minus x, x gets decremented by 1. So x plus plus, there is something interesting, the difference between x plus plus and plus plus x. Folks, any of you has any idea on the difference between x plus plus and plus plus x?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So when you say plus plus x, it will increment and uses. When you say x plus plus first uses the current value, then it will be.
Okay. So for example, I have created a class and said int x is equal to 0. So I say x plus plus and I print x here. And then I say plus plus x. And then I print. So what my values will be?
0.
Sorry?
0.
It will be 1 and 2. It should be 1 and 2, right?
Yeah.
0 and 1.
It will be 1 and 2.
1.
Here the value is 0. And when I say x plus plus, x gets incremented.
0 to 1. Okay.
Yes, it becomes 1. And it prints 1. And even plus plus x. increments x by 1, right?
Okay.
So x will become 2 and it is printing you 2. Are you people clear so far? X plus plus and plus plus x both increments x by 1. Is that clear?
Good. Clear, ma'am.
And for example, what is the difference? So when I say here x plus plus and here I say plus plus x. So what will be my output now?
0 and 2.
0,
1. First time it's going to be 1. Second time it's going to be 1 plus 1, 2.
It is 0 and 2. Someone has answered it correctly and that's great. So what happens during x plus plus?
Oh.
First, it assigns a value. Wherever it has used, it first gets the value and then x gets incremented. So when we are using it in the system.out.println, it gives the value as 0 and then it gets incremented. So it prints as 0. But when I say plus plus x, it is pre-increment. First, x value gets incremented and then it gets the value. So it is 2. The same thing applies with x minus minus and minus minus x. So I mean, you could just try it on how the x minus minus and minus minus x works. And we have the multiplicative operators. Star is used for multiplication. I mean, all these 3 operators, they need 2 operands. When I say, for example, when I say A star B, A and B are called operands and star is called the operator. So we have the additive operators, plus and minus, which are equal as the arithmetic. They are also known as, these 5 operators are also known as arithmetic operators. And we have relational operators to say if one operand is greater than the other, is less than the other, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. And we have the instance of operator. Instance of operator is used to check if a reference variable is pointing to object of a specific class. So for example, I say student S is equal to new student. When I say S instance of student, it returns you true. We will be able to check if a reference variable or if an object is an instance of the specific class. And we have the equality operator. Equality operator's double equal is, it returns true when the 2 operands are equal. If they're not equal, it returns false. And not equal operator is just the opposite of equal and equal. And we have the logical operator. Logical AND operator, it takes 2 values and both should be Boolean. The 2 operands for a logical AND operator and logical OR operator should be Boolean values. And it returns true only when both the operands are true. And in the rest of the cases, it returns false. And the logical OR, it returns false only when both are false. And in the rest of the cases, it returns true. And the interesting operator is ternary operator. Ternary means it's going to take 3 operands, right? So this is an example. So A greater than B, question mark, which means if A is greater than B, if it is true, it returns A. If it is false, it returns B. That's about the ternary operator. And these operators are called shorthand assignment operators. So instead of like saying, A is equal to A plus B, I can say A plus is equal to B. Let's say, for example, here I have one more variable, let's say Y. If I want to say X is equal to X plus Y, instead I could say X plus is equal to Y. This is known as, these operators are known as shorthand assignment operators. And any doubts on operators before we move on to the conditional statement? And better you try all these operators and see how they work. Even the pre-increment, post-increment, and decrement operators, and all that.
Neha?
Yes.
Yes. So is that double equal to is we use for comparison?
Yes. Equality.
Okay.
Yeah. When we want to do equality comparison, we use double equal. So, for example, if I want to see if x equals y, so how do I do that? I say if x equals y. It is the comparison that it is happening. But if I say a single equal, it is the assignment operator. You're assigning it. Double equals is the comparison that is happening between these two values, between these two operands. Are you clear?
Yes, thanks. What do you mean by equality comparison? What is that? Like,
it checks if both are equal or not.
Okay.
The values in x is 0 now. The value in y is 9.
Okay.
So they are not equal, right? So it returns false. For example,
double quotes you mean by double quotes is check the
double equal. Yes, it checks and returns a Boolean value. If it is equal, it returns true. If it is not equal, it returns false. But right, we can use double equals for comparing int values, and for string values, we don't use double equals. It's an object. If you want to compare the contents of a string, we use equals method. We don't use double equals.
Say it again. Can you say it again?
Yes. If we want to compare the primitive or the primitive data type, we use double equals.
What is imperative data type?
Primitive data types or the data types which you see on the screen, which we have discussed a while back, these are called as primitives or primitive data types or data types. They are all synonyms that we use. For comparing the primitive or primitive data types, we use double equals. For comparing objects, string is an object. It's not a data type. It's a class. The objects, if you want to compare the string objects, we use the equals method. It might be a little confusing at this point. We're going to discuss about equals method and all that in later classes. But we don't use double equals to compare strings. We use equals method.
Okay. Thank you.
I have 3 questions. Neha, I have 3 questions.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm referring to the previous slide, the slide before this slide. Actually, the one before this one. No, the one before this one. So, string is not a primitive data type. It still exists on this slide. Why?
We declare variables. For example, the data that we deal in day to day, that constitutes a group of characters. So that's the reason we discuss strings along with the primitive data type.
But it's not a primitive data type, right? Car is
it is not a primitive data type.
Okay. So now my second question is about the next slide, the double equals operator. You did mention that equals method is going to be used to compare 2 strings, which is correct, which I completely understand. So this double equals is going to check the what? Reference equality, or what is it going to check?
When we say 2 strings double equals, it checks the reference variable. It checks the address of those variables, the address of the object. So it just checks the contents of it. So it is going to return you true only when both the references are pointing to the same object. It doesn't compare the contents of the object.
Correct. So it
For example, yes, I have an string object ABC. I have another string object ABC. They are not the same object. they are different objects, but they have the same value, then double equals doesn't return true. Double equals for strings return true only when both the references are pointing to the same object. So we don't use double equals to compare strings. We use equals method.
Right. Okay. Now, now I have one more question. Thank you for the previous explanation. I got that now. Now, we do use, I mean, the primitive data types are going to give us better performance as compared to these string or integer class and stuff, right?
Why do you think so? Any reason for it?
Yes, the reason is that I got this question in one of the interviews and I wanted to just clarify it with you because I didn't know the answer. So, the integer class, right? Why do we use the integer class over int, like the primitive integer?
I mean, I think we discussed it during the Raper classes. But let me tell you at a high level, when we're dealing with any collection, right, they don't hold primitives. They hold objects. See, primitive, we cannot make an operation or call an operation, do something on a primitive. We cannot do that. But it can be done on an object, right?
Correct.
For example, the integer, if you want to convert across binary system, I mean different number systems, or that cannot be possible with a primitive. Primitive just holds a value. It is just some kind of memory that is allocated for it, right?
Correct. Correct.
But to wrap these primitives and to
I understood that, Neha. You're talking about wrapper classes, correct? So
yes.
that I understood that. I got the answer. Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks. Folks, please mute your microphone. Maybe I see the resound. Vince, is it better now? I mean, do you still face that on and off?
So many of our students have given testimonials on how our training programs are. You will find them on kudzu.com and on our website H2KInfosys.com. On our website H2KInfosys.com, you will also find more detailed information on who we are, the courses that we offer, what each course covers. Also, if you're interested in a demo program, please register on our homepage on the left-hand side. Just give us more information about yourself and we will send you a link for a demo class. The demo class is absolutely free. Experience our commitment by just attending an orientation workshop at no cost. Our team of faculty and advisors are here to guide you with the right information. If you still have more questions, please feel free to call us. Call us at 770-777-1269. This is a United States number. If you're calling from the UK, call us at 020-337-17615. You can also email us at training@h2kinfosys.com or h2kinfosys@gmail.com. Thank you for watching our videos. We wish you a great career in information technology.